Hey, Junaid here. In part 1, by the way, do check out the part 1 of this video if you haven't already. So in part 1, we took our UI design and extracted its markup to Livewire components and built a contact list with contacts coming from the database. Today, we'll modify the contact list class to use two views, one for the grid view and one for the list view. And we'll get rid of the ContactGrid class to make things simpler. Then we will modify the contact class to accept a contacts collection and view mode parameter via the mount lifecycle hook. Let's call it method. Then we will add pagination to the app. And finally, we will add the search functionality, which will allow us to search contacts by name, email, and number. So let's start by opening up the contact list. Adding parameters to the mount method. Contacts. And it will accept a view mode. Then we will assign this value to the contacts property. Then we will add a new property, view mode, and assign its value to the past parameter. Let's add this property. Let's add a condition here to switch between the two modes, list view and grid view. If this dot view mode is list, so let's introduce a view variable and set its default value to grid. And when view mode is view or list, we will set the view to contact list. Otherwise, we will set it to contact grid. And we will use this variable. Then we will change contacts property to protected. Since this value is coming from the parent component and it will be a collection of models, so we will tell Laravel to use it as is. Contacts is this dot contacts. And let's get rid of the contact grid component and then go to the app component and make some adjustments. Here we no longer need this condition because we have tackled it inside the contact list component. So we will call contact list and pass in the contacts. So let's go to the class for this component, contact app. And since we have not introduced the contacts property yet, or we may not need a contacts property, we will instead create a method, get contacts, and it will give us the all contacts. We can pass it here. So what we want to do is to help our search feature. We will accept a query here, not a database query, rather a search query. So if the query is empty, we will return all the records. Otherwise, we will search the database. So if the search term is empty, we will return all the contacts. Otherwise, we don't need this, by the way. Otherwise, we will do a query contact return contact where so this is null by default. Now let's see if it works. So unresolvable dependency view mode. We haven't passed the view mode to the contact list here. And we will pass the key. We will use a time value here or a random value. Looks like it's working. And there we have it. Let's now, I saw something. Okay, something was out. So this is out. Let's add a margin there. Now let's add pagination. We'll start by adding with pagination trait to the contacts app class. Then display the pagination links in the contacts app view. Let's see if it works. So this is happening because we haven't told the contact model to give us a paginated list. We can do it here. We will tell it to show us 5 items per page. This part will be used by the search feature which we will implement. So let's refresh. And we have a pagination. Let's see it's working properly. It is. So it's working. So let's move towards the search feature. What we will do now is When we enter a text here and press enter, then search will initiate. We don't want to search on a key press or key up, because when we bind a model in Livewire, it is reactive and we can do things like this. But we don't want to do it like that. Let's go to the apps component. Let's open up the view instead. It is the view. Yes. So we will add a model to this field. Wire model is search query, and add this as a property to our component class. So if we want to see if it's working, we can do this. We are just echoing whatever we have in the text field. So this is working. But as I said, I want to trigger the search when we press the enter key. So we can do it by wire colon on key down or key down dot enter, and we want to call the search method. Let's define the search method and get rid of this contacts app. So when we press the enter key, this method will be called assign the value. So we will define another variable to hold this value. So let me explain this a bit better after I define this variable. So since we have bound this model to the input field, and whenever we type in the field, its value is updated. And we don't want to update the search field as yet until we press the enter key. So as soon as we press the enter key, we will assign the field's value to another variable, and that will trigger our search. So as soon as we press the enter key, we want the UI to refresh or show the search results. So in order to do that, we have to introduce another variable which will hold a key for the UI or the contact list. This is just a random value we will generate at different times when we want to refresh the UI. So let's introduce another variable. This will help us in many other places as well. Let's call this public view key. And let's set its value to a random value. We can use the time method. This dot view key equals time. So how do we use this search term? When we press the enter key, this search term is populated, and we just have to pass it to the get contacts method as we called it here. So if you note, this value is null by default, and when it's null by default, we will show all the contacts, and when we have some query, we will do the search in the database. Okay, let's see if it works. So if we say BRANDA and we got nothing. Okay, it's BRENDA. So that works. So let's do, so if we remove the search term and do not press enter, it won't do anything. So we can press enter and we get all the results. So we will do download. So right now it's just searching the first name. We will now implement, now we will change that query to search first name or full name, including first name and last name, email address and phone number. Let's do it now. We will do or where, last name, or where email, and or where name. Sorry, number. And or where number. So let's do a refresh and see if it works. Okay, what happened? So we forgot the arrows. Let's give it a refresh and see if it works. So if I want to search for this number, maybe let's copy and paste Brenda, and we got it. Let's create it. Let's search for Tiffany's email or Austin's email in that case. So this works. So let's say we have a search and we switch the view to list view and it works. So that's all for this video. I hope you learned something, and let's see you in the final video for the contact app, in which we will make the contacts editable and deletable.